Welcome to Pilates for lower back pain. This workout is suitable for anybody that's struggling with lower back pain, other injuries, or if you're just new to Pilates. Here we're going to cover some basic exercises. So let's set up our neutral position first. Have your feet hip distance apart and your pelvis in neutral. So we just want to rock the pelvis backwards and forwards and rest in the middle, so that your hip bones are level and you have your natural spine curve underneath you. There should just be a tiny space for a tiny grape to live under the small of your back. Soften your ribs down towards your hips, widen your collarbones, and melt your shoulders down to your mat. You want to engage your centre here. So the core muscles in between your hip bones, just gently draw them in towards you about 30% or so. And we want to hold this contraction. Let's keep the back of the neck long, and we're going to pulse the hands up and down here for hundreds while we hold our core muscles engaged. So focus on that small 30% contraction, keeping those muscles drawn in as we pulse the arms up and down. And you just want a nice natural flow of breathing in and breathing out. Rest your hands back on the floor, keeping your centre engaged with your neutral spine. We're going to take hip twist. So we're going to take one knee out to the side and then back to the centre. You want to keep the static leg really stable as you move here. So we're working on our pelvic stability. Let's exhale as this leg goes out to the side and inhale as it comes back. Exhale and inhale. Let's just keep focusing on engaging those lower abdominal muscles and relaxing the top half of your body. All the tension should be running between those hip bones. Let's breathe out to the side, breathe in to return. Let's get ready for one leg stretch. With your centre engaged, you're going to extend one leg long from the mat and then bring it back in again. Let's keep alternating the legs. So as you do this, you want to imagine that you're drawing lines in the sand so that the leg stretches out along the line and back the same line. We don't want the feet to touch or the knees to touch. Let's breathe out as we stretch away and inhale as we return. You want to keep your pelvis really still here, so make sure that you're not arching your back or rounding your back into the mat. Your pelvis should be completely level. Let's imagine that you're balancing a tray of drinks across your pelvis and we don't want to spill them. Keep melting the shoulders down and eye gaze up to the ceiling. We're going to combine these movements now with a hip twist into a one leg stretch. So let the knee fall and then we extend it away. So this needs just a little bit more coordination and control as we combine the two movements. So let the knee fall out and then stretch it away, bringing it back in a straight line. Let's breathe out through this whole movement and breathe in, come back again. Let's just try and keep the pressure really light on your fingers and arms. Focusing on keeping that tray of drinks stable across your pelvis. Let's exhale smoothly out and then inhale along that straight line, trying to keep the leg as steady as you can. Almost there with these. Let's keep that control and steadiness through your leg here. Good. We're just going to make sure that our pelvis is still level. We still have our natural curve under our spine and our core is engaged. We're going to take one leg up to tabletop and back down again. So our tabletop position is 90 degrees. And this exercise is called scissors. As you lift the leg up, your pelvis does not move, and you want to make sure that you're not bracing your spine into the floor. Let's exhale to lift and inhale to lower down. Being really mindful that you keep the hip and the knee at 90 degrees, and we're maintaining the space between our knees and feet. Let's focus on those abdominals, feeling the work as we do this. So keeping them lightly switched on as those legs float up. We're going to take this to the next stage now. So making sure that centre is fully engaged, we're going to come up to double tabletop. Make sure you've not rounded into the mat at this point. Scissors at level 2, we're going to toe tap down, lower and return. We exhale down, we inhale back. If you need to make this a little bit easier, tap the foot closer to your bottom. But the full exercise, or the harder version, we're stretching out from the hip. And this is really intense on the core, so be really mindful at keeping that pelvis and lower back in your neutral position. Let's keep melting the shoulders down, and we're going to add in some hundreds here. So hundreds, we're going to hold this static contraction and pulse your hands up and down. And let's just breathe in and breathe out in a nice natural flow. Releasing any tension around the neck or shoulders as we hold this core contraction. Breathing in, breathing out. Just feeling that warmth around those muscles. Let's just hug the knees into the chest and release one at a time. Let's reset our neutral position, level across our hips, natural curve under our spine. Centre engaged. Float your arms up to shoulder height here, and we're going to take some overhead arms. So we're going to float the arms up above us, and then lower them back down again. And as you're doing this, you're being mindful to keep your rib cage softened down. So this is what we call rib flaring, when your ribs pop up to the ceiling. So we want to make sure those ribs stay down. And now we're going to try and take the arms further overhead if we can. Now you might need to limit your range for this if you feel that you are rib flaring or arching your lower back. And if that's the case, just don't take the arms as far overhead. So we want to breathe out, float overhead, and breathe in, bring them back again. Making sure that your ribs and your lower core and your lower spine don't move. This is really nice just for that natural movement of your shoulder blades and maintaining a nice posture. Your shoulder blades should always be resting on the floor here. We're keeping the shoulders melted away from our ears. Now let's get ready to add in some coordination here. So we're going to extend one leg at the same time and then come back to the centre. Swapping the legs over and back to the centre. So here we're keeping the legs hip distance apart and keeping the arms shoulder distance apart. Breathing out to lengthen, breathing in to come back here. Just keep focusing on engaging that centre, that low level contraction, and let the movement flow. So we breathe out, glide away, breathe in, come back, using those core muscles to bring you back to the centre. And you should really start to feel those muscles building up in intensity now as we work through them. Breathing out. Breathing in. Rest your hands back down by your sides now, and we're going to float one leg to tabletop, followed by the other. Just rechecking you still have your natural position here. Float the arms above shoulder height, and we're going to take some overhead arms in this position now. So just building on the intensity, keeping your core active, and ensuring that your lower spine does not curve or arch. Only bring the arms as far overhead as you can control. Exhaling over and inhaling back. Exhaling over and inhaling back. Good, really nice here. Let's just float over and return. Keeping those shoulder blades down on the floor, your shoulders are melted away from your ears. Rest your hands back down to the floor now, and we're going to extend one leg and back to the centre, swapping legs each time. So here you want to maintain that neutral spine, that steady pelvis, and lengthen the leg away. And we're aiming for a diagonal line up towards the ceiling. We're breathing out to reach, breathing in to come back. And just keep relaxing your shoulders and your hands. Breathing out, breathing in. Good, keeping that lower spine steady. Hug the knees into the chest and have a good breath out. Let's release the legs one at a time. Bring your heels a bit closer to your bottom this time. We're going to get ready for shoulder bridge. This is really nice for spinal mobility. So we're going to curve through the bottom and then back down again. Just as a preparation here, we're going to do some small pelvic tilts. So here we are looking to flatten the back to the floor and then arch the back from the floor. Just isolating that movement from your lumbar spine and your pelvis. And then to go into bridge, we're going to keep going, peeling the spine, pausing at the top, and then placing it back down in sequence. So you want to imagine that you're peeling each vertebrae, each bone in your spine off of the mat here, up to the top where we inhale, and then we place it down, top, middle, and then bottom. Let's breathe out as we roll up. Inhale to hold, and then exhale back down again. And you want to keep this flowing movement, really engaging through your centre and using these muscles to help you. There should be no tension through the neck or the shoulders. Breathing out, rise. We inhale at the top, and let's lift a heel if we can. If that feels too much, just carry on with your normal bridging. We're going to do a few heel lifts here. Keep lifting through those hips. And then we're going to melt back down again. So this just adds the intensity. It makes your bridge a bit unstable, and you really have to think about where you're keeping your weight. So strong centre. The next progression is we lift the whole leg off of the ground. We're keeping the leg at 90 degrees. So a tabletop position here. Keep lifting, and then we lower back down again. Let's breathe out, rise back up through your bridge. And in the last version, we're going to lift that leg once more. And down. Try and keep the weight out of your hands, out of your shoulders. And just feel the strength around that middle. Let's work our way back down. Hug the knee into the chest one at a time. Have a good exhale and release one at a time. We're going to get ready for some abdominal preps now, which are really good for isolated core strength. So let's interlace the fingers behind your head, and we're going to lift and lower back down again. Exhale and inhale. So we're not doing a sit-up. You don't want to come any higher than this. The base of your shoulder blades should remain on the floor. And to make sure there's no tension in your neck, really let your head relax into your hands. It should be your core muscles doing all the work here. Your chin should be lifted off of your chest and your eye gaze looking over the tops of your knees. Breathing out, we lift. Breathing in, we lower back down. And you want to imagine that tiny grape that lives under your lower back is not getting squashed when you come up here. So you're trying to maintain that neutral lower spine position. If you're managing this well, take the hands to the side, and we're going to hold this position now for some increased strength. Pulsing the hands up and down for our hundreds here. If you want to make it harder, float one leg to tabletop and keep relaxing your shoulders. Let's swap those legs over. We're breathing in, breathing out. Bringing the feet back to the start position here, keeping the eye gaze towards your knees. Turn your palms up for some variation to open the chest here and turn them back over again. Good job. Let's relax back down. Fold those knees into the chest and round out your back. Release the legs one at a time. And let's extend the legs out fully now for a nice stretch, lengthening your arms overhead and have a well-deserved breath out. Folding the knees back in again, we're going to roll to the side and bring yourself up into sitting. Just have your legs off to the side. We're going to take a big side stretch over here for our mermaid stretch, just to lengthen all down that body. Let's go to the other side. And then we'll switch over and do the other side. So with a nice exhale, let's lengthen up and over. And then the same to the other side, lengthen up and over. Let's sit cross-legged or whatever feels comfortable now and reach the arms away from your body, rounding out the top half. And then opening the chest here and lifting. Folding the arms in front, we're going to twist to the side and back to the centre. This is really nice just to get some thoracic, so some upper spine mobility. And well done. Thank you for practicing with me today, and I hope you enjoyed your workout. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, all under Freshly Centred. Thank you and goodbye.